Thank you, Chairman, and thank you to my colleagues for allowing me this time to be here with you today. You know, the failed Biden border policy has made technology even more important to keep our American communities safe, to keep our Border Patrol agents safe, and to keep our nation safe. With that being said, the RGV sector, which includes McAllen, Texas, right here where I have the honor and the privilege to represent, has one of the highest drone detections along the southwest border. The cartel drone detections just right here in the Rio Grande Valley sector in fiscal year 2022 was 35,000 drone detections. I'm going to repeat that number for you all because we don't hear it enough. 35,000 drone detections from the cartel that are watching our agents, watching our American communities, and leading illegal immigrants through our southwest border. That being said, out of the 35,000 drone detections, only 10,000 were intercepted. That's it, 10,000. To put this in perspective, the RGV sector only has 31 drones assigned to this sector. Let me repeat that number, 31 drones. And out of those 31, only 18 are actually operational and assigned. The others are down due to maintenance and other issues. So while the cartel have an abundance of resources and have unlimited money to be here on our border, the RGV sector, our agents, our chief, are only left with 31 drones to intercept this. Now, this type of unbalance is unacceptable in the RGV that continues to have high illegal immigration and high illegal drugs crossing our border. That being said, there's other high persistence surveillance, which includes aerostats. There were 7 aerostats here in the RGV sector, and due to lack of funding, 3 have been decommissioned, and the remaining 4 are going to be defunded by the end of this year. With that being said, Chief Ortiz, what is the department currently doing to assist with countering the cartel technology? And again, 35,000 that we detected in the last year.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Good to see you. I will tell you that technology is probably a priority, or no, definitely is a priority for myself and my leadership. Whether it's South Texas or whether it's Arizona, the SUAS issue, as you know, cartels have deep pockets. They don't have to worry about policy. I have to worry about policy. We have 201 small UAS systems deployed throughout the country, and I intend to continue to expand that at great levels over the next 24 months. We have a counter UAS program, as you might be familiar with, and we continue to expand that because we recognize that the cartels have become awfully sophisticated, and a smuggler no longer has to leave the Mexican side to smuggle a group of migrants or narcotics across the border. He can do it virtually via a phone app and a SUAS. And so we need to continue to expand that footprint, but our policies also have to match that. We have to be able to mitigate those 35,000 drone incursions that you just described. We are on the process, or in a process of mitigating a lot of those criminal organizations and being able to exploit where they're coming from, how they're doing it, and we're going to continue to expand that as much as we can. And then with respect to the aerostats, I'm a big fan of aerostats. When I was in Afghanistan, and I think some of the committee members will recall that aerostats kept us safe. And when I came down here in 2013, I was the architect of the aerostat program here in South Texas. And when I went up to headquarters, I expanded it across multiple locations across the southwest border. But it is an expensive piece of technology, and I have to find an alternative for that.
Now, Chief Ortiz, can you tell the committee and the members here in that are in the audience, can you tell us how deep into American soil have these cartel drones actually come in?
So it will vary. Some of the drone technology that the cartels are using are very sophisticated, and we've seen incursions miles away from the immediate border area. For us, we are doing, I think, a tremendous job of identifying where these criminal organizations are operating out of, but we need to expand that.
So in my debriefings with Border Patrol, I have heard that these drones from the cartels have come up to 8 miles into American land. Would you say that is an accurate statement?
No, ma'am.
How far do you believe that they come into American soil?
I think it depends on terrain. A lot of areas along the southwest border are very mountainous when you think about what we have in Arizona and El Paso. But then when you think about what we're dealing with here in South Texas and in some areas in West Texas, pretty flat country. So cartels can operate via line of sight. And once again, it really depends on their ability to leverage existing systems, whether it's cell phones and whatnot.
We just recently lost some of those aerostat balloons in this past January. So what is the measure that the department is using to fill the gap until we get to the next step?
We currently have a team deployed and looking at some alternatives to a similar type of platform, but that's less expensive. What we've seen in the past with aerostats is in these areas,
and
high
Chief
winds.
Ortiz, I'm sorry, I'm out of time. I'm just going to ask you, how fast can we deploy some of this technology?
We're hoping to deploy it in the next 6 months, ma'am.
Thank you, and I yield back. When I spoke last session, I talked about the importance of technology and specifically drones, and where we had over 35,000 detections and 10,000 incursions. Well, drones can't work themselves, right? We need the manpower, the agents to be able to work them. So retention and recruitment is an important part of securing the future of our nation. So this question actually goes to Mr. Cabrera. Mr. Cabrera, over the last year, due to the failed Biden policy and the stress that it has put on our Border Patrol agents, have you seen an increase in agent retirement?
Most definitely. And, you know, like we said before, technology is great. We can have all the technology in the world, but if we don't have the agents, bless you, we don't have all the agents on the ground to stop it, we're not going to be able to do anything. It used to be when I first came in, and even up until about 5 years ago, when you hit that retirement age, you had maybe a 7 to 10 year gap where you could go, but most guys didn't go. They stayed till mandatory. Now when guys hit that retirement age, they jump as soon as they can, and that's a shame because we're losing very senior, seasoned agents that we're just letting them go.
Do you see that trend continuing?
I see that trend continuing, and I foresee it getting worse.
Share with the committee here about recruitment, and recruitment being a key part of being able to make sure that whoever's retiring, that not only do we still fill those spots, but even increase our agents at the border. So share with the committee about polygraphs and how polygraphs have affected recruitment.
You know, I think polygraphs have their place. I think the Border Patrol polygraph, I think it's a flawed system. I know we've had guys that come out of the military with a security clearance, top secret, and they fail the Border Patrol polygraph, and so they get sent on down the road. I have tons of stories, whether it's people I know or people that I'm related to that can't pass the Border Patrol polygraph, but they pass the one for customs, or they go into DPS, or they fail it the first time and pass it the second time. It's just astonishing that nobody can pass this polygraph, and it's, I mean, they ask some just ridiculous questions. They even go into it. Sometimes I've even heard of them going into people's sexual orientation on these polygraphs. What that has to do with anything is insane. But you know, if there is a place for it, they need to revamp that system and make it so that we're not losing good candidates to DPS which we are. And, you know, it's good for them, it's bad for us.
So is this something, the polygraph test and how it's being utilized with the Border Patrol recruitment, something you would like this committee to take a look at?
Most definitely. I mean, like we said before, we're losing tons of great agents for just silly technology.
Tell us about overtime caps and how that affects maximizing the boots on the ground.
We have overtime caps. I don't know the exact numbers on it, but we do have a cap on overtime. So if we work it early on in the year, which like this time of the year, everybody starts taking their overtime, and then towards September, October, November, there's no overtime left, because even if it's available, the agents can't go over that cap to work it because they've made too much already.
So let me make an example for my colleagues here that I think is very important. So people are maximizing their overtime right now. So let's just say November, if we had a migrant flow of 10,000 Haitians come over like they did in the past years, people would be maxed out on their overtime and could not go out and assist. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you very much, and I yield back.